Hey, welcome to the last week of Mission Critical. I'm glad that you have been a part of this series, and I truly hope that as you've dug into Scripture and learned to ask hard questions, that you've gained a greater appreciation for the early church and what they went through. Um, we started out this series talking about how Jesus gave people the mission to be his witnesses. And we end this series with looking at a man named Ananias, who became a witness to Jesus, to the most notorious murderer in the history of the Christian religion. And it is an amazing story, first and foremost, because of the dramatic power of the gospel to change people's lives, but also because of the message to us that no matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, you do not stand outside of God's grace. God's grace is for all of us. And so on Sunday, we talked about how the Apostle Paul said that he was a persecutor and a violent man. And I don't know if you've ever met someone who's like this really big, aggressive person that the gospel turns them into a teddy bear, with just love for people. And I know people like that here at our church that are just, they used to be tough as nails, and now they just have hearts for people that are far from God. And that's what happens with the gospel. And so in this story, the particulars that I want you to dig into is I want you to be thinking about what it was like to be a disciple of Jesus in the first few months. And now you're attending these Jewish synagogues, and you see these people coming to arrest you and to kill you. How would you have responded if they would have approached you with the question, do you believe in Jesus? I think that's a question we always have to keep at the forefront of our minds, because that's what makes us crisp. That's what makes us our message clear. That's what helps us to remember what we're doing and why this is all about. Because if we're not feeling at some point on a regular basis the incongruence between what we believe and what other people believe, then that's a problem, because we're thinking and we're becoming too much like the world. And so suffering, persecution, is the very thing that reminds us oftentimes that we're on God's track. We're doing the right things for our lives. So the other thing that I want you to dig into is I want you to think back through the entire experience of the early church. And I want you to ask, what would it take for us to have that happen again? That's part of the reason we wanted to do this series, is we wanted to ask the question, what would happen if we radically took Jesus's command to be his witnesses here, starting in Greater Royersford area, the 422 area, the western Philadelphia suburbs, all the way through the Philadelphia metro area, the East Coast, and then eventually around the world? What would that look like if every single day we woke up and we said, you know what? This is one more day. I get one more day to be a witness to my friends that are outside of the faith, that Jesus is alive and his grace is available. So I love you all. As I mentioned on Sunday, Lisa and I finally are going to be able to take a group of people over to Israel. And we are going to go through all of the sites that you've been reading about in the Bible, from Jerusalem to the Sea of Galilee, to the Dead Sea, to Jericho, to, my goodness, there are just too many to list. And I hope some of you are able to go. It'll be the price of what it costs to go on a mission trip to Kenya next year. And so we have worked with them to pack every single possible thing we can pack into that trip. And so If you're interested in going, you know, you can get the information on the website, or you can catch Lisa and I on Sunday morning or at different times. Love you guys. Appreciate you being a part of this study, and look forward to what God's going to do in our church as a result of it.